manifesto didactic. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can, Faith. We can hear you.
Okay, so welcome all to today's webinar, and thank you very much for joining us. It must be noted that a lot has changed in this new era of the fourth industrial revolution, and this has rapidly affected and shaped our society's skill needs. Today, for instance, more than 4 billion people on the planet use mobile phones. Approximately 87% of world's population use electricity. And in over the past 2 years alone, over 90% of world's data has been processed. And we will get further details on this later by our speaker who will speak on data science in the current industry. Also, we have self-driving cars, which have already been launched, and over 2.7 million robots are operating in our factories today. Those mean almost more than 2.7 million engineering jobs, because we know that a robot does more than what one engineer can do. So literally, our world has taken a new shift. How then do we navigate today's career path? Today, we have our great speakers who will give us the necessary tips on how to smoothly get started in this dynamic industry, adapt and stay relevant even in the future. So before then, I'll welcome the official from IEE Moi University, or any official from IEE who can give us the opening remarks before we call our first speaker. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Faith. This is Chris Modemi. I'm the current TSA, not TSA, but IEE Moi University here. And thank you for those who are joining the meeting. Yeah, we feel very proud because having to host this event and having see people appreciate it's a thumbs up for us. So I guess this webinar was created in collaboration with TSA and TSA and IEEE Moi, and I see the chair TSA is around, so I would like him to give the opening remarks. Yeah, on behalf. Okay, I see Elvis.
Welcome.
Otuoma.
Welcome, Elvis.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Elvis Otuoma. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yes.
Yes. So sessions so first of all, I'd just like to thank all of the panelists for taking the time to mentor us and share your experience with students of the School of Engineering, and just generally students of Moi University as well, and young professionals who are hoping to get into engineering. It's quite an honor to have you come, share your experiences, and tell us and sort of like give us and act like a lighthouse to guide us. We transition from school into the world of professional engineering. Given the circumstances that we're experiencing now in the middle of a global pandemic and quite frankly, harsh economic times that have limited opportunities for people, I find that a session like this is really important, and it would go a long way in helping so many young professionals. So I am grateful for your contributions. I am grateful that you have taken the time and basically come here to share with us. And I'd also like to give a thumbs up to the team that organized this, because I have it in school. Chris and the team at IEEE Moi have done most of the heavy lifting. So I'd just like to appreciate them. And I look forward to having fun in this session. Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you very much for the remarks. So we'll go straight to our agenda, where we will have our speakers. And the first speaker that will start us off is Margaret. And Margaret is a polished data analyst, and he will give us really more information on what data really mean, and especially in the industry today. So she's experienced with over 6 years, and with Palladium Group. And her professional qualifications also is in machine learning from Massachusetts Institute of Technology. And she also has an MSc in mobile telecommunication and innovation from Strathmore University, and a BSc in computer science from Catholic University. Welcome our speaker, Margaret Maringa.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'll not be able to share my video because my internet will degrade.
Okay.
So my name is Margaret. I work for Palladium Group as a data analyst. Like Faith has mentioned, we are moving to an era where big data should be at the starting point and not at the ending point. And so what does this mean to us as future engineers? What does this mean to us who are getting to learn on where we are going to place ourselves in terms of our professional life? I think I'll be able to share some tips here and there on how we can leverage this and how we can work together in terms of how data and engineering can fuse together in future. So the first thing I'll do is I'll define key terms. What is data science? What is artificial intelligence? What is machine learning? I'm sure most of you have heard about artificial intelligence and training of robots and self-driving cars and whatnot. But all this artificial intelligence and machine learning is under the stem of data science. Data science is a very diverse field, and it covers everything in the analytics framework. It looks at from computer science, that is part of data science because it talks about building systems. Engineering is part of data science because it means building of the hardware and infrastructure. Then we talk about artificial intelligence, which is a field of training computer systems to perform tasks that mimic or typically will require human intelligence. So when you're training that vehicle to drive itself, you're actually doing artificial intelligence. Then machine learning, it's a set of algorithms and a subset of artificial intelligence that is used to train predictive models. So when you're training your car to drive itself, you have to train the map that it will follow to look out for things like traffic jams. So when Google Map is learning and telling you your time to your destination is 2 hours, then as you're sitting in traffic, it keeps updating and telling you that now you're not 2 hours away, but you're 3 hours away because there's an unexpected traffic jam somewhere that will make your time grow or reduce. That means it's learning from the people who are seated in traffic. As you're stuck in traffic, Google is learning and seeing that there are more people and they're not moving, or there's now less people because people have branched off. And now it needs to recalculate. So that is what the predictive modeling is all about. So why is this field of data science growing? There's a lot of data. I think Faith started by mentioning that we have more users who are having mobile devices. We have more people who've been connected to the electric grid. That means we have more people who are generating data. Previously, data was the end of the food chain. So you'd start by building systems, getting people to use the systems. But once they have done all that and you've collected all this data, how are we going to use this data? That is where the field of data science is coming in. We have now, how do we use now the data to help us know what are we supposed to build? How are we supposed to build it? What is the low-hanging fruit? Are we just building a self-driving car because we think it's cool? Or are we building a self-driving car because from what we have learned before, we are seeing that technology is enabling us to do this? Also, there's growth in computing power. I think we have moved from, I'm old, maybe the team I'm talking to right now is of young Turks. But we have moved from a place where you could start downloading things using mobile internet, GSM internet, and you have to wait 2 days for whatever you're downloading to finish. Yet right now it's on a click of a button, click download. As long as your internet is well enough, you'll be able to get what you want. Servers have been built to be able to process more data, and this computing power is increasing. Today, what I'm thinking is very fast. In 2 years' time, will be obsolete. Nobody will be able to hold an i3 computer, for example, to run a few programs here and there, because at that time it's obsolete. The amount of data, the amount of systems, the kind of systems that we're currently handling is helping in building in growth of the computing power. Also, there's the development and refinement of algorithms. So machine learning algorithms keep learning. So you train a model today, you pass some, you've collected data. For example, you have said, in Moi University, in the Department of Engineering, I would like to see what the results that the students have been getting in these particular units, for example. And from that, you collect data for the last 10 years. So for the guys who are in engineering 10 years ago to today, and the algorithm tells you there's a trend. We have noticed when we are looking at the data and let's even say, for lack of a better example, a particular lecturer, that we have learned that when this lecturer is the one who is holding Math 101 for the engineering class, they tend to do very well. But in the computer science class, the same exact lecturer with the same exact unit, the students are not doing well. That is what statistics will tell you. But machine learning will be able to tell me what kind of skill set do the engineering students have that is different from the computer science student, and what exact difference is making the students of engineering fare very well in terms of Math 101, irrespective of the lecturer, and not computer science. For example, it's because maybe they're doing physics, that physics is a prerequisite to joining engineering, while for computer science students, it's only math and, let's even say, computers in high school. So the use of the refinement of the algorithms to just not look at statistics, but just split out the data so that you're able to see exactly what is making, what is the cause of things happening the way they are. That is why this field is growing. People are now more interested in the why. Why is it happening? What is causing it to happen? And not just it's happening, so what? Okay. So is data science really a new field? If you meet a statistician, they'll tell you no. If you meet someone who's grown into the field like me, I will tell you no. But someone who's just who's heard it about this for the very first time will tell you yes. But I will say data science is not a new field. It's been there. Like you can see, the science of dealing with data has been there. And Naur in 1974 has spoken about this, that the science of dealing with data, once they have been established, the relation of the data to what they represent is delegated to other fields and sciences. So you'd get, like, we get data as an engineer, it is not attributed to the engineering or to the changes in the engineering. It is just presented as a report somewhere. But yet right now what we are looking at is how do we consume this data? So there's no consensus as to what constitutes data science, which I'll speak about in the next slide. But there are three communities, all within the computer science or statistics field, that are emerging as foundation to data science. So there's database management. I know some of you have heard of people who are in computer science and are now managing database systems such as Oracle systems. And the reason why these people are being seen as foundations to data science is because they help in the storage of data. So for every data that is generated, for the machine learning or for the artificial intelligence systems to be able to learn from it, the data has to be stored. Then the statistics and machine learning. who can now get the data from the storage areas and convert that data into knowledge. And then there's the distributed and parallel systems, these are the people who hold the computational infrastructure and provide the necessary hardware equipment, hardware solutions to help in the carrying out of this data analysis. And I think computer engineers fall into this particular space of distributed and parallel systems. I need to make a disclaimer that data science is not only limited to computer science. Data science is not only limited to mathematics and statistics. As an engineer, you can be a data scientist. How? When you're looking at smart machines, when you're looking at the development of hardware, when you're looking at a mechanical engineer who is looking to build a better AC, for example, you can be part of the data science process because one, you have the domain knowledge, which is very important. As Margaret, I don't have domain knowledge in mechanical engineering, but I have knowledge in data. That means for me to build a proper machine learning model to help the engineers, I have to work with someone who is an engineer, who has a problem and who knows what exactly they'll need to, what the problem will solve. So if I'm looking at cost of construction, for example, as an engineer, to build a 3-story building, I will need this much material, I will need this much tumor, I will need cement, I will need this much labor. It will take me, for someone who has the exact amount of all the money that I need, it will take me I will need 10 million shillings. But having that knowledge and keeping that knowledge where it is not documented or where it is not saved will not help in the machine learning process. So the collection of that data and having it, like you've collected it over time and you said, for this particular building that is 3-story, this is the skill set I need, this is the labor that I need, this is the cost of materials, this is the time I will need. And for the exact same building with different parameters, then this is also what I need. So that way, with the kind of data that you collect in that facet, then we can build a machine learning model. And then we say, we have noticed that for you to build to have a building or to have a construction done for you by organization X, then these are the parameters that we need to enter. So how much money do you have? 3 million. Then we break it down. For 3 million, we'll be able to do either a 1-bedroom house this area or a 3-bedroom house this area. So that is how the engineers come into the data science field. When you talk about computer scientists, we're looking at algorithms. The computer scientists now will get the requirements and the data from the engineering team, and then they'll build the machine learning algorithms. For the mathematics and the statistics students, then this means that you have to look at the data with an analytics eye. You have been taught probabilities. You have been taught linear regression, for example. Then data science will help you to see that what is the probability of A happening when B changes. That is all about, you bring the science in data science to the team. For social science students, for example, you look at linguistics. Currently, we are looking at COVID. And if you wanted to see, in terms of natural language processing, how many articles out there are talking about COVID or are talking about the COVID vaccine. So the linguisticians then will get documents, and then we build an algorithm to read through the documents. You don't have to read a PDF by PDF by PDF. We can read we can build an algorithm that will read through the documents, and then we can state what to look out for, and then the algorithm will tell us, we have found 50 pages that are in BBC World Kenya that are talking about COVID. And when we look at the positive ones, 25 are talking about how COVID has affected in a positive way, and another 25 are talking about how COVID has affected in a negative way. So you're able to see what kind of information is being sent out there. Then we're looking at, in finance, fraud detection and also for credit scores, then banks nowadays and all these Mshwari, Fuliza teams are just, instead of having an if else, if has someone borrowed, yes, have they repaid, yes, then we can give them a loan. No, they're looking at, you have to register, you have to give some biometrics, you have to give some demographics about yourself. You have to say whether you're coming from an urban area or a rural area. You may get that you're coming from an urban area and you have the same demographics as someone coming from a rural area, and you'll not be given the same rate or the same loan, because the systems have been tweaked to say that we have noticed that people coming from this particular area who are this particular age are not tend to not pay their loans or something like that. Then we look at customer segmentation. When you go to Google and you search for something, you're looking to buy a phone, or you go to Jumia and you're looking to buy a phone, then you log into your Facebook page. Then Facebook is sending you ads for that particular phone or another type of phone that is similar to whatever you're looking at. That means there's an algorithm that is running in the background that is looking at learning what you're doing. And most of the marketing companies are taking advantage of this to say that we have noticed for engineering students, they're looking for these tools for home automation. They're called what? I've forgotten the name. These ones that we want to use Bluetooth to switch off our lights. What are they called? I've forgotten the name. But yeah, so that means if you're looking for that, then let's sell that to you and not just go about selling you any other thing that will come to that we think we need to sell. So they're learning that this is going fast with this kind of people and this is going fast with this other kind. In transport, learning algorithms are being built to just try and help in transport. For example, how do we tell the Uber driver that this is the shortest route and this is the longest route? Because we would want them to serve as many customers as possible for them to make their money. That is how and where we apply data science. So to be a data scientist, what does one need? Being a data scientist has very many things. Data science is defined differently by different people. Someone will say data analyst, for example, like Margaret is a data scientist. Yes, I am a data analyst, but I am part of the data science team. Someone who is a machine learning engineer, who is just basically their work is to build the algorithms. They're part of the data science team. Someone who is an enterprise architect. So this person is building the systems. This person is building the systems and is building the algorithms that will be used. An enterprise architect, you're designing what exactly the system should look like. And then you have the data analyst, who is just looking at the data and trying to tell you, this is what the trend is saying. When we build the algorithm, we will compare with what the analysis is telling us to see whether we are very far off or we are close together. Then there's the data architect. Data architect is coming in to say, we need to bring this data from these various sources and we need to link them together. And the data architect, data analyst, and the business intelligence developer, they all work together and they're all part of the data science team. You'll notice that I've only concentrated on the role. What can you be when you're part of the data science team? And there's one very important thing. So you choose the right role. Where do you want to be? Do you want to be more into data, or do you want to be more into the design of the algorithms or the design of the project, the data science project? It's a revolving project. You have to understand where you're coming from and where you're going. So which are the languages and the tools to use when you're a data scientist? Most people will confess to using Python. I have used R in building machine learning models, but I'm moving into Python. And you have to understand your data. You have to know which data you're using and where you're using it, and that is why you need SQL. The third thing that is very, very important is communication skills. because once you build a machine learning model, you have to go out there and communicate to the people that you're telling, look, we have noticed this is what your data is saying, and we are telling you that these are the most important variables that are contributing towards the model, and that you need to tweak your working to handle the variables that we're talking about, or just to give results. We have noticed from the data that you're collecting, it will not help you much because you're missing ABC. When we are learning, when we have built algorithms to learn, they are not bringing out much because they are still diluted. They're very diluted. You need to make sure that you have made variables ABC as mandatory to collect fields, so that we enrichen our data set to make sure that we are communicating, or we get good algorithms out of the data that we're collecting. The fourth thing, which I should have made the first thing, and is very, very, very important, is the domain knowledge. A data scientist will not build an algorithm based on without knowledge, without the domain. That means if, as Margaret, I'm doing a machine learning model with an engineer, that means I need to work with an engineer. And that means for me to program an AC, for example, I need someone who is an engineer, who understands how the AC has been built, who understands how the AC works, who will be able to, we can work together to see, and they will tell me, no, if you build an AC without a fan, it will not make sense, and that a fan is very important. So having the domain knowledge in what you're doing currently, what you're learning currently, is very, very important. I've put in 2 links below there. We have Jenga School. Jenga School is a new platform. They're offering curriculum in data science, in machine learning, and in AI. And they're very good at handholding. I'm working with them currently. I'm in one of their core classes for machine learning. And kenyahmis.org is the organization, is the project in Kenya, in Palladium Group, that I'm working with. And this is the project where we are building machine learning models to just help the healthcare provider in getting to know who are the people. We deal with HIV, and we want to know, in the era where test kits are becoming a problem, who do we test? So those are the machine learning models that I'm working on. Yeah, so I've come to the end of my slide. I don't know if anyone has questions. I don't know if I went too fast.
Thank you so much, Margaret, for the very elaborate presentation. And just one thing that I got home with is that an engineer can be a data scientist. And under the data scientist, we have various paths that you can still take as an engineer, all the way from data engineer, machine learning expert, machine learning engineer, data visualization expert. So there's a lot for us as engineers as we go into the field, in the field of data science. Please channel your questions right on the chat, and maybe note them down. We'll have a question and answer section later on. So the next speaker whom I will welcome is Engineer Lucy Mutinda, and I will just share a brief about who Lucy Mutinda is. Lucy is a mechanical engineer from Moi University and techpreneur. She owns EcoCycle, who turn sewage to reusable water for your lawns. She is also holds a diploma in sustainable business and responsible leadership from the Swedish Institute, as well as a certificate in international leadership and management through GIZ in Germany. She's currently the first vice president of IEK, that is from 2020 to 2022, and a member of board committee on governance and ethics at the Federation of Africa Engineering Organization. Welcome, Engineer Lucy.
Good afternoon, everybody. I hope I can be heard clearly. Just confirm. Hello?
Yes.
Do you hear me?
Yes, very well.
Faith, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay.
You are audible.
Right. Thank you very much. It's a distinct pleasure to be here to talk to the young people from our alma mater, university. It's quite emotional. That's a place we spend a lot of time. So today I'm here just to, I may not speak a lot of engineering, but because all of you are young people, graduates looking for opportunities and thinking, what's the next step? I just wish to step in something that you may not have thought about that could be a powerful tool to help you to maneuver. The previous speaker that went ahead of me has told you about data science, information and all. And we have one tool that is full of information that you can maneuver around and possibly just maneuver through your growth of career very easily. So today I'll be talking about the power of social. And what I mean is the power of digital and social media and all the information that is on social media and what you can do about it. So I'll cover social media landscape, your personal brand, introduction to social selling. When I talk about social selling, most of you people think selling is about selling commodities of goods. But even to my fellow engineers who are here, we know every time we are looking for tenders, every time we are looking for projects, or you want to tell people what you are able to do, you have to sell your skills, you have to sell your offering. So when I talk about selling and you're a young graduate, think about packaging yourself, who you are, and being able to convince people that you have something that you can do or offer. That is still selling. So I'm taking a twist and not talking engineering, but just giving you a tool of how you can maneuver now that you're fresh out and ready to face the world. So let's look at the social media landscape. Currently, the world has 7.83 billion population, and about 66.6% of them are urbanized. So you say about 5.22 billion are people who are in the urban areas and they have mobile phones. They're unique mobile phone users. When you talk about a unique mobile phone user, it's about a number of SIM cards that exist. So it tells you about 67% of the world is on their mobile phone. Then the internet users are about 60%, which is 4.6 billion. And the people that are on social media are about 4.2 billion. 53.6% is the percentage. So what does this tell you? Most of us, I wish we could see by just raising hands, how many of us here have a mobile phone and are on social media? The answer is likely going to match this, that almost 100%, especially you young ones, would be on social media and you have social media on the go, digital media on your phones. So what can you do with this tool as a young engineering graduate that is tangible and that can help you propel your career? Going to the next. What's with my slide? It's not progressing. Someone is talking. I don't know if I'm clear. Is there a problem?
Kindly ensure you are all
Faith?
muted. Yes, you're clear.
Okay, I hope I'm still. So now just to give you an overview, I don't know whether you have ever thought about it. What are the most popular social media networks in the world? So Facebook is at the top, YouTube follows, then you have Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp is on the fourth, and it goes on like that, and you can see LinkedIn is also somewhere. So what we are trying to say is the people, the opportunities that you look for, employers like ourselves or entrepreneurs or owners of companies, big leaders in different companies are all on social media. And when you are out here trying to start up your new business or trying to look for an opportunity, it means there's a chance to easily link with these people and really grow your career. So just a snapshot from the US, it says that companies are really paying big bucks or big money to be on social media. So this is just to ask yourself, if companies are investing in social media, you as a young fresh graduate, you have no choice to also invest on social media, but use it rightfully. You can see the growth from 2018. The investments in social media are going up and up because even companies have discovered social media is an easy channel to advertise their products, to recruit, to look for better talent and all that. So as a young person, you have no choice being on social media. But the question is, when you're on social media, what are you doing? Are you posting where you went out for disco last night? Are you posting what you ate last night? Or are you using this social media to showcase your skills, your experience, what you've been able to do, and be able to connect with your next opportunity? Your next opportunity is not necessarily being employed. It could be your next investor to help build your business idea. It could be your next customer. It could be anything that you're looking out for. So let's talk about your personal brand on social media. How do you work on it? In this table here, you will see I have senior leaders, salespeople, technical people, marketing, everyone. Now, because you could be a fresh graduate, not yet in any of a company acting either as a salesperson or a technical person, either a project manager or a chief engineer, or you're not yet a senior leader, it means you fall here. You are everyone. So everyone in the world has a role to play on social media, and use it really to grow your brand and advance your dreams. So you have your personal accounts. On your personal accounts, what do you want the world to view you as? You need to be an advocate of your own strengths and what you have learned in your experience. So if you're a fresh graduate and you're wondering, so Lucy is telling me to show what I have been able to do, and yet I just came from university. Think about right there when you're in university. Myself, I remember when I was in university, I was the publicity leader for Technology Students Association. I don't know what you call it right now at Moi University. We were also able to do some small projects through students in free entrepreneurship. So you people as students, you may think you don't have something to showcase or a track record, and that's a big mistake we make. And what I have noted, people in the West, Europeans, you'll meet a 20-year-old, when they describe to you what's their track record, it sounds so big, just because they're able to package the small things they've been able to do as students and turn them out as value. So as a student from today, think about everything that you achieved when you were in university. Were you a student leader? Did you engage in a community project? Did you help to network the people in the hostels to have internet? I remember in our years when internet was coming up, one of us is the one that set up a local LAN in Geria to connect hall 1, hall 2, hall 3 and stuff. So if you're looking for a job and I'm your employer, and perhaps you come and sit in an interview, or I'm your investor and you're trying to explain what you can do, although you're a fresh student, because always I see people on LinkedIn asking, people are asking for experience. So what experience do I write? What I'm trying to say is, do not undermine the little things that you've been doing while you're in university. So for instance, assuming you're the one that did a small LAN for your hostels in Geria, you need to showcase that as your experience. In your LinkedIn profile, you need to talk about the small little projects you've been doing and showcasing, not just throwing in your CV and saying, oh, I'm helpless, I'm looking for a job. Highlight those small little things that you've been able to do. So advocate for your strengths, your experiences, your passion, what you love doing. Post some quotes, post something that inspires you and how you relate to it as an expert. And by doing so, your goal in this is that you create a brand awareness. So who is the brand in this case? The brand is you, the fresh engineering graduate from mechanical, from civil, from computer engineering, from electrical. The little projects, the small things you have done, the little leadership you have been doing is not little. So as Africans, we need to know how to magnify and showcase our brand as early as when we are still students and when we leave university. So that is for everyone where you are at. As you grow in leadership, so let's speak like I'm a technical, like in my case, I'm the engineering director of my firm. So I have my personal account brand on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Facebook. So I speak as a technical expert. When you look at my profile, you will find I'm always talking about wastewater, the effects, how it can be done. So when people come to my profile, they're actually getting proper information that informs them. One time I even met a student who told me that they've been following my LinkedIn and they've used it to write a paper and present in their project. So what I'm trying to say is your brand on the internet needs to be a brand that gives opinions, that teaches people, that makes people aware, and somewhere people that can come and look for information. So if you're looking to be employed or to be engaged, let your profile speak to your strengths, your experiences, what you're passionate about, and easily employers will be able to pick you out. So that is one thing. Now, just going to your profile. I know this looks very simple, but I want to tell you, as fresh people, those profiles that you have on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter may be a bit of very social, but LinkedIn is a powerful tool. So on your LinkedIn profile, you need to have a professional photo, something that is a professional snapshot, a descriptive headline and summary, something that when someone reads your summary, they are quickly able to tell what kind of an expert, what are you passionate about, what do you do? You need to share your story, and your story is your professional experience, your passion, what you love to do, the things that I've just talked about. You need to display valuable content, not just posting something that really does not show something impactful or value. And because we are all human beings, it's okay sometimes to share your personal, something personal, like show if you're a family person or you're someone that is you love cooking or something like that, because we also need, nowadays with managing teams and the HR angle and the way COVID has showed us, you want to have a team that is full of humaneness. So apart from showing your professional side, once in a while, you can share something personal, like if you've had a personal milestone or you just graduated or you did a new course. Again, it's part of informing your network, how you're progressing. So on your LinkedIn or your Twitter, you need to upload a professional photo. Profiles with a picture get 14 times more views than a profile that is just blank. We all want to know the people that we are engaging with. So your profile needs to have a professional picture that is warm, friendly, and professional. I just wish to use my own profile as an example, because I know I'm telling you, you need to update your headline, describe who you are, what you do, and the value that you provide. I hope you underline the word value. So by highlighting your strengths, what you're capable of doing, even as a fresh student, a potential stakeholder or partner or employer can tell the value that you can bring into their association. Or if it's an investor, they can tell the value of the kind of business that you're likely to start up. So if it's like the students that invented the inventor at Jomo Kenyatta University, I would expect that when you go to their profiles, you're really able to see who they are, what is their strength, the things they've done. And if they're looking for investors and they keep posting more about it, when someone just goes to their profile, at a glance, they're able to tell what kind of a person they're dealing with. So like this is another person from Autodesk just saying who they are. They're a project specialist. They enable sales to help people imagine, design, and create a better world. So you can be very brief in saying what you are. Strategic thinker, passionate about making an impact, lifelong Wolverine. Myself, I've just had the roles that I have. I'm a climate action and environmental protection champion, top 40 under 40 women, wastewater recycling expert, and a leader. So your profile in a snapshot needs to show who you are, because nowadays when you apply for jobs, I'll be honest, most of us employers, we will actually look around, because the social media, as again, as a data mining space, has a lot of information about everybody coming along your way. So this may not be possible now, but I just want all of you sitting in this meeting, as you go on from today, on your LinkedIn profile or even your Twitter and Facebook, just come up with a new headline describing who you are, and let your headline be very engaging. So maybe later when taking Q&As, we can hear what some people came up with and see whether this worked for you, thinking of how to really change your profile and how you appear online. So again, if it's LinkedIn, you need to summarize your expertise, write your story, brief